Today I want to talk to you guys about blower valves. Now, in a recent video, I've installed blower valves in this car, and I was talking about a kit that I do not recommend. But I realized in this community in the last 5 to 6 years, we talk so much about, do we need blower valves, don't we need blower valves? And this is this video on all the information that I read from actual proper sources and from talking to different tuners and people in the community. All right, so this is that video. Hit that intro. Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. So welcome back everybody. I want to talk to you guys. So let's pop the hood, and I want to make this a very hopefully informative video talking about blower valves, because there's so much information going around talking about that we don't need blower valves, or we do need blower valves, or whatever the case might be. Even though I installed blower valves on this car recently, Infiniti engineers did not design this car with any blower valve or diverter valve system. And I believe if the engineers didn't do it, it didn't need it. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about here, right? For guys who don't know, what is a blower valve? Pretty much any excess boost or boost pressure when the throttle body, those are the two throttle bodies, flap closes, a lot of that boost pressure is still stuck within the air or the intercooler and or the boost line from the compressor and or the turbo itself. Now, most other companies, other manufacturers, still design some of their turbo engines with a diverter valve system. The diverter valve system is pretty much like a closed loop blower valve system. Rather than it being blown off to the air, what happens is, you see how this blower valve here, that air would actually come through a valve itself and go back into the intake system. This will create I would say, more of a stable pressurized situation. And also on top of that, because the amount of air that's flowing into the intake system itself, that air is metered by a mass airflow meter that's down there. That reads the amount of air. When you have a blower valve system that blows off that excess pressure to the air, your car runs into a small event where it would go rich for a very short period of time, and or the car would be able to tune its way out, or how they might have designed it from factory, so it won't run into this rich situation quite often. On these cars too, you do run into boost spikes also. The blower valve system doesn't really negate that situation. Technically, it doesn't, because the boost pressure that you might get the spikes from will be from the intake manifold itself. It's not reading it from pre-throttle body. Okay, cool. So hopefully I just described that completely. Now, knowing that they didn't design this car with a blower valve from the factory, right? I get that. That's what the engineers did. But most of us don't run the car on stock 9 PSI like my 3.0 TQ60 or the Red Sports where it's between 15 and 16 PSI. Most of us are tuned to 17, 18, 20, 24 PSI depending on if you have upgraded turbos or not. Now, the situations that happens with those specific modded cars that are running elevated boost pressure, the engineers never designed the car, listen to me guys, to be running 18 to 20 PSI. So what is a good way to, let's say, relieve that excess boost pressure? Because the engineers designed it to have between 19 and 15, and we giving it 18 to 24 PSI. You add in a blower valve system. Now, all the negatives that I've read online from different tuning companies, from engineers who design this type of stuff, all this information is out there, guys. Come on, Google is a thing, okay? This is not YouTube mechanics information. You guys can research this stuff and understand that these blower valves and diverter valves are in the ASC book. This stuff is designed and it's out there, okay? Cool. Now, if you're going to run elevated pressure, right, all that running 18, 20 PSI, once again, it gets locked into there when those throttle bodies close. Where is it going to go? This creates a compressor surge situation that wears out your turbos, guys. It definitely does. Engineers have talked about this plenty of times. It wears out your turbos over time. It's not like your turbo is going to catastrophically fail right now. It can take, through the longevity of time, it will break down your cars. This is for racing applications or high boost situations in the future. Here's a third downfall, I would say, with a blower valve kit installed improperly. Our cars, depending on your tune or if they're stock, it calls for a certain amount of PSI. The turbos have to spin up to a certain amount of RPM to reach that PSI, right? Now, if there's a boost leak, right, if it's installed improperly, that means the turbo has to overspin itself to get to that certain amount of PSI in the system. This will pretty much kill your turbo over time if you don't catch these boost leaks in time, because your turbo is overspinning itself. That's more heat. That's overworking the turbo. Hotter oil temps. Boom. Bye-bye turbo bearings. So be very careful and make sure that you try to install these things airtight to make sure that you don't have any boost leaks. Cool. So, knowing some of the negatives, boost leaks, a slight rich situation, and turbo surge, here's the pros. The pros is you get nice sound. I know you guys are going to laugh about that. You get a nice sound. Everybody loves a blow-off valve sound. You think with turbo, guys, it just sounds good, and we love it. That's one of the positives. But we want to talk about the real numbers. Why does it make sense? In my mind, the blow valve is not, to me, is an accessory modification. You'll be okay if you don't have it, but you'll be better if you do. That's the way I take it from all the research I've done, and that's why my car has blow valves, and that's why my last 250 had blow valves. But I'm gonna be fair here, because people always ask the situation too. If your car is leased, what's the point of spending your money on something that the engineers didn't design it? Because you literally have warranty. But if your car, this is going to be your pre-owned car, I think this is a safety modification that you can do for the longevity of your car. I already hear people commenting below saying, well, my car still blew its turbos even though it had blow valves. It isn't going to stop your car from running 18 to 20 PSI and you beating on it day in and day out on zero W20 oil and 95 to 100 degree weather in some of the southern states. And some of you guys beat on these cars like if they're 3.7 Gs and Q50s. No, it's a turbocharged car. The more and more amount of heat that's get pumped into this motor, the hotter and hotter it's going to get. And then these are not race engines. They're going to catastrophically fail if you keep beating on it. No matter if it's this car or maybe that C63 right there. Because that C63 could take a lot more beating because they put a lot more into cooling. But these cars, and that car, the C63, comes with a standard diverter valve system, which I switched to a blow valve system. So the engineers designed that car to actually have a diverter valve and or blow valve system. But this engineer did not. So at the end of the day, that's the way they designed the car to be designed, right? Another positive, I really can't think about too much other than for what the job is, to relieve excess boost pressure. That's the job of it. That's the safeguard. If we had a way to design it that it can be like more of a diverter valve system and take that boost charge and put it back into the intake track pre-turbo inlet, then yeah. But until we have that happen, it is what it is. I think this is a modification that is needed if you're running elevated boost pressure from factory, and or this is going to be your car. I don't really know of any high horsepower cars who don't have blow valve systems. I think it's an accessory modification. But if you're on stock boost, it's really not needed. I don't think it's needed at all, especially if its car is still under warranty and or to lease. It's needed. And some of the blow valve systems that are on the market are quite expensive. $500, $600, $700 just for 2 intake couplings, some vacuum lines, and then of course the expensive blow valves. They're supposed to be expensive because they got a really crucial job. But outside of that, it's not a lot of people want to just jump and get into that. So in my honest opinion, are blow valves needed within the VR30 community? I say it is yes. If it is your car, if you're gonna run elevated boost pressure, yes. But if you're a stock car, stock PSI, the engineers designed it to not have it. So don't care about it. Don't kill yourself about it. Don't spend the extra money. But if you want to design your own cheaper eBay blow valve system where you save some money, you can do that too. I still don't believe spending a bunch of money on blow valves, but it is what it is. So outside of that, guys, I hope I gave a couple information. I hope I shared something new. I hope you guys learned something new. For the people who dislike this video, because I know you're going to dislike it, and you're like, Boost, what you talking about? You're not no mechanic. Listen, go and read the books out there. There's plenty of books, information out there on blow valves and the diverter valve system. And I try my best to be fair within this video, stating engineers didn't design it with a blow valve system. Even AMS themselves stated that the system, that this car doesn't really even need a blow valve system. That's why they never chose to design one. But other companies have chosen to do so. There's a market for everything, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. So outside of that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I know you were staring at an engine. I think you guys rather stare at this than stare at me. It is what it is. Contact me at boostinmotion.g, Facebook, and boostinmotion@gmail.com. Otherwise than that, guys, you have a good day. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also, on top of that, if you want to purchase some Boost in Motion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you.